Welcome to It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and early 80s. This is Kara Siegel. I'd like to welcome in Marsha Kaplan Wachman to the It's Been How Long podcast studio today. Hey, Marsha, how are you?
Good, Kara. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I can't thank you enough for agreeing to be on the podcast today.
And I'm excited to be here. I feel like it's this live yearbook that it's just exciting. And I've enjoyed watching all our other classmates.
Oh, that's
And
great.
I just wanted to just shout out to the classmates that I am honored to be part of the class of 1980. The way that Robin shared her cancer journey with us. And it was so touching how we could support her. And it was just it was amazing to watch. And
Yeah.
I felt honored to be part of that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure he's running for president somewhere up in heaven, and I'm sure it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. How true. How
Yeah.
true. So here we are, 44 years post graduation, and I'll start as I always do. What are you up to? What keeps you busy?
Okay. Well, I'm living in Florida, loving it. It's in Highland Beach, real close to Delray and Boca. And I am presently selling real estate, which I
Okay.
really love. I've reinvented myself so much over the years, but that's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What do you do for fun?
So for fun, because I live on the beach, I have a little kayak here.
Oh,
When
cool.
the ocean is calm, I can get out there and kayak. I really love that. I love the arts, so I get real creative. I do broken china mosaics, which I love.
Wow.
Yes, I make different things, and I'm just a beachcomber. I make a lot of stuff,
Oh,
and
great.
I need a creative outlet.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great. Have you been bitten by the pickleball bug?
I have not.
Okay.
I work a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I just haven't gotten into that scene yet. It sounds like I know I would love it. I
Mhm.
just need to find my
Did you
tribe.
play tennis growing up too?
I did not play
Oh, you
tennis.
didn't. Okay. Okay. I couldn't remember.
I
All
did play
right.
a little bit of softball, but that was before that was middle school. That was, yeah, no, I didn't play any sports in high
Okay.
school.
So what did you do in high school?
So my freshman year, I ran for student government
Okay.
and I was secretary. That was a big thing for me, public speaking, getting up there and doing that. And it was a
And that was
great,
for the class.
that was for the class.
Okay.
And then going forward, it was always, I was a representative in my homeroom.
Right.
Um, as far as what else I did there, I was really just, I worked from the time I could get working papers. I always worked.
Oh. Oh, so what did you do job-wise?
So I worked, Echelon Mall was in walking distance from my
Okay.
house. So as
Okay.
soon as I got working papers, I worked in stores in the mall.
Okay. All
And
right.
then I eventually went over to Hit or Miss, which was at the Clover Shopping Center.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was next to like Best Foot Forward. And I worked there and actually went into a manager's position before I got out of high school. And I
Wow.
stayed and worked through, I stayed local for college and I stayed in the store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which places did you work at the Echelon Mall?
So it was called Horse Feathers Good Shoes. It was on
Mm,
the second level.
yeah.
So they had like really cool jeans and yeah, I mean, just whatever. I stayed there most of the time.
Okay.
Did a merry-go-round very quickly, but I wasn't happy there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I
So
skipped.
so briefly, in fall of senior year, summer, fall, right around there, I worked for when they opened the Great American Chocolate Chip Cookie Company.
Oh
You
yeah, I
remember them down
remember
in?
those giant cookies.
Yes, 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 yes,
Now
yes.
they were something else.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, we hung out at Echelon Mall a lot because I could walk. I grew up in Downs Farm, and it was easy
yeah,
walking
yeah.
to the mall. So we hung out. Yeah.
Wow. And so one thing that I read about in the yearbook, it said something about some kind of anti-drugs program you were part of. Did you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I was involved in, I did a lot of peer
Mm.
induced programming. So if they had students against drugs,
Yeah, something like that.
I was
Yeah.
definitely involved with that awareness.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay. That's
it
again,
was,
that's something I had no idea we had going on.
yeah, and I'm telling you, I did have, you know, auto crop and he was just so crazy. And I remember thinking there was a lot of craziness,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of people struggled with different things. And so it
Yeah.
was good to be aware of what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, what did you do after graduation?
So after graduation, I stayed local
Mhm.
because I was working, and I
Mhm.
went to Rutgers in Camden,
Okay.
and I commuted from home. And then I moved into Center City, Philadelphia, and I did a reverse commute to Rutgers.
Oh, okay.
I know, which was so crazy.
Yeah.
And then after a couple of years, it wasn't aligning with what I wanted. So
Mhm.
I wound up going into a fashion program in Center City
Oh.
and graduating with fashion merchandising degree. And I went right to New York City after I
Oh.
graduated and went right to the garment district, 1411 Broadway.
Oh,
And
wow. How
well, I
cool.
literally commuted. Like I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning, caught the bus at Mount Laurel.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
went
commuted
to
into
work.
Sunny City? Wow.
I know
That
it was so crazy. So I
how
woke up
many
when it was
hours were
dark.
you?
It was a lot. I mean, I woke up when it was dark. I came home when it was dark, but
Yeah.
I loved working in the city. And at the time, I couldn't afford to live in the city.
Yeah.
So eventually, I moved to Brooklyn,
Mhm.
and I could afford an apartment there. And I loved it. I
Mhm.
loved the whole action. And then I was a rep on the road. So I worked in a showroom,
Oh, wow.
and then I became a sales rep.
Oh, wow.
Covered a lot of territory, like all of Long Island and Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx, and all of North Jersey. And I sold aerobic wear.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if you
So,
remember when Jane Fonda was really
yeah,
into shiny
yeah.
lycra. And so I sold the shiny lycra.
Oh
So I
my
sold all the
gosh.
yeah, and I went all over to like health clubs and dance studios, and we had a nice line. We had some swimwear and aerobic. It was great.
Oh,
So
that's great. How long did you do all that?
I was with them. I think I stayed with them almost 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
And what happened was I decided it was a lot,
Mhm.
and then I came home
Mhm.
and I found another job where instead of being in the garment industry, I sold like greeting cards, and I had 20 different lines of that I could sell to a lot of different stores.
Okay.
And so I did that. I moved home and I wind up selling. And then I went to the 5-year reunion
Yeah.
and I met my husband, and he
Oh, wow.
graduated with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
His
that.
name was Barry Wachman. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I was a rep and I did that and then moved home. And then I stopped repping
Mhm.
and I opened my own business, which was a party planning and event and invitation business.
Oh,
And I
cool.
had that for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow. What was it
And I
called?
did weddings and bar mitzvahs. I did it out of my home.
Did you have a name? Was
Just
it?
I think it was You're Invited by Marsha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
I did that the whole time I raised my family until they finished.
Wow.
A
And
long time.
yeah.
Yeah. I
And so
did.
you were
I
back.
did birth announcements at the beginning, and then I did their bar mitzvahs and then wedding, and I went through the whole, and it was
That's very
nice.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I really
And so
like.
you raised your family in Cherry Hill
Yes, I did.
and your kids went to East.
And my kids went to East,
Wow.
and it was
That's
nice. So I had 5 years between them, so I had a lot of years at East. And
wow.
yeah, my daughter was heavy into sports. My son, not so much, but he was involved in a lot of different other things, but all aspects of it. And it was a great experience I had a good experience and they loved being at East.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. So was there a class? All right. No, actually, so I'm going to ask a question I haven't asked before. Did any of your kids have a teacher that you had, and were you able to discuss that teacher with them?
You know what? I know Mr. Terranova was the
Yeah.
principal for
Yeah.
my son at the time. So that was just a connection. As far as his teachers, I don't think so.
Oh,
I know
really?
it's
Okay.
weird. I think so Mr. Weaver,
Who
I
was?
he was English lit. Do
Okay.
you remember Mr. Weaver?
I don't.
No.
Not sure I
Okay.
had him,
So
but yeah.
he just started when we were freshmen, and he became when Mr. Nation left, Weaver took over. He was the acting and
Oh, okay.
Remember that? He just retired after 42 years in the Cherry
Oh,
Hill school system. Yeah.
wow. That's
But his
amazing.
thing was Shakespeare and
Okay.
here I'm a freshman and I have nothing. I have no idea, and we're like making the Globe Theater and he was really into it. So I got my dose of Shakespeare. I think Justin had him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember us all. I mean, Mr. Cove, Cove was all
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the kids. I think one of them had him.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
him I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so very good. So was there a teacher or a class at East that influenced you beyond your high school days?
Well, I really loved Mrs. Sakaj. She was my art teacher.
Okay.
And in my class was Rob Bender and Ken Barrows. They were, I mean, the most unbelievable artists, so creative, these two individuals.
Well, I see Rob Bender's posts on Facebook.
Right?
These,
His sculpture, like
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
And I'm sure Ken is somewhere involved. I'll
Hmm.
have to see. I think I heard, I'm sure he has art in his world somehow.
Yeah, okay.
They were both really talented. So I loved her class because
Hmm.
I got that. I love to do the drawing and the projects and the art. I really loved that. I had Mr. Belchikoff my senior year for that alternative class where he's like helping me balance my checkbook and all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. And that was really helpful. Trying to think. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of,
Yeah. That sounded like a great class. Sounds like that should be just a requirement for everybody.
he was just so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It
he was
was
just teaching us
I
life
interviewed him.
lessons.
Did you see
Yeah, I
his?
saw
That
it.
was amazing. That was
Yeah, I think
amazing.
he could relate to the kids and the kids
Yeah.
could relate to him. And he was just such a nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So, did you have a high school sweetheart back then?
I actually did. He was a year younger than us. His name was Brian Carlos, and we were in each other's lives at a time that was so important.
Hmm.
Really, just a great friend. It was just perfect for me.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he was a special guy, and I was lucky to have him in my life through high school.
Yeah. Oh,
Really
wow.
nice.
And then you
Yeah.
went back to the fifth year reunion, and then you met
And then
your.
I met Barry, and I
Yeah.
even knew Barry because he was friends with my brother. So it wasn't like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I mean, I knew him. It
Right.
just time, everything's timing.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
And so do you still have friends from East you're in touch with?
I do. I
Hmm.
have. I also had a lot of friends from the West Side because I was
Oh.
involved in a sorority in high school,
Hmm.
and I was actually president of my
Oh, okay.
sorority. Yeah, and so a lot of the girls we would meet at the JCC every week, and so a lot of my friends were definitely from the West Side.
Okay.
But I'm Eileen Cohen Racher is still a
Mhm.
good friend, and my friend Shelley Glickman. I don't know. I think she only went a couple years to East.
Mhm.
Um, I have my friend Mindy Markwich. She was from the West Side. I still see her. Jeff Sobel graduated. Audrey Rosen was my best friend in high school.
Oh, yeah,
Do you remember her?
I do.
Um, I'm trying to think of who else I stay in touch with.
And are they all over? Are they back home? They down in Florida? A lot of folks in
Audrey
Florida.
is in California.
Oh,
Shelley's
okay.
in Florida. Mindy's in Florida and like back in New Jersey. Jeff is in Florida.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a lot of people. Cindy Carr, I stay in touch with.
oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, down here, Shari Silverberg is down here. I say,
Yep.
I pop in. I'm popping in and out. I see Paul Richmond. We got together. Carl
Yeah.
Becker was down here.
Yeah.
We had a little mini thing get together. It was
Very
nice.
cool. Very cool. All right, I'm going to ask you to plug with the folks who haven't been on the podcast
Right?
because I'm going to say right now this is the last one I've got on the books to put up next week. So whoever you were in touch with, give them a little arm twist and
No, I
say,
will. I was looking and I was thinking, Jim McGlone. I don't know if you remember him. He was a
"Mhm,
swimmer. He's
yeah,
down here in Florida,
yeah, yeah,
Hudson
kid.
Beach, and Bob Hyatt's on the West Coast. Roy Lemieux's down here.
Yeah,
Bob Fox is down here. I was thinking who else? I was good at Daryl
yeah,
Horst down here. I mean, we got to get
yeah. I've reached out to a bunch of these folks, and not everybody uses Facebook Messenger,
the,
so it's really hard to. So if you
okay.
actually can,
I will
show
send
me
a
the,
little shout out.
yeah,
Who
that'd be
wants to?
great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So do you have a standout memory from high school that kind of sticks with you?
I love Spirit Week. I always loved it. Anytime I had a chance to dress up, whatever, and be
Yeah.
crazy, I guess I was really into that. I loved getting my driver's license. That was a big thing, taking that driving test and going around those circles. I thought, oh, I remember, I think I closed my eyes as I was going around the first time. And this guy from Echelon Driving School is like, keep your eyes.
It's-
It was so fun because those circles just made me crazy.
Sound advice. Keep your eyes
Yeah,
open when you're driving.
it was just so funny. But I I mean, I liked a lot of high school. I loved watching our shows, like going to see all the kids perform. I had a good time. I just was really I was into it. I
Yeah.
liked it a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything you wish classmates knew about you back then or now?
Um Kind of was always an open book. I looking back as I watched these, I really wish I had a chance to have more friendships with people made outside of maybe whatever the niche I was in. I would have liked to experience, there were so many amazing classmates.
Yeah.
And, you get in your circle, and you get with your friends, and you're doing whatever, and you don't really have a chance to explore too much outside of that. That's one thing I really wish I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get to know people a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking before we got on air, just saying how, like approaching someone that you didn't know because you were just like, oh my
Right.
gosh, it was, I guess, the insecurity of
Yeah.
what we would have been 15 to 18-year olds,
I
predominated for
remember we
sure.
were all on those tracks, right? And
Yeah.
I was always B track. It was like I would go in the library and study and do book report. My brother would wake up in the morning and get an A. It was just the way he did it. For me, I was the one who always had to study for all my grades that I got. It was just, and I was always enamored by these kids who were like A track,
Yeah.
like just taking all these accelerated classes. And it was like amazing. So I did feel like I didn't get to really know a lot of those kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I get to see them at reunions and it's all good. And we all come together as just
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
people.
Absolutely. That's one thing we've learned. We were all in the same boat.
Yes, exactly.
So I guess the answer to the question is, yeah, you did go back in the building.
I did go back in the building. My daughter, because she was played a lot of sports, was able to go back on the field and cheer for East. And yeah, I loved it. My son was involved some of the theatrics, and yeah, I loved. Yeah, it was so much fun being back there.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So we're back in 1980 and
Yep.
you've just graduated and you're looking out 40 plus years. So is this where you saw yourself?
Nope. Originally when I was going to school, I thought I was going to be a social worker.
Oh, okay.
That was what my intention was, to go for social work.
We have a
And
couple
I always wanted to help people.
mhm,
Just
yeah.
that's what I wanted to do. I did always love the fashion because I always worked through high school, so I always
Mhm.
did that. And so I'm glad I have that. And I've recreated. I became a licensed massage therapist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I worked in a cancer center. Before I moved down to Florida, I was living in Center City, Philadelphia. I worked at Penn Medicine. And
Oh, wow.
I was a patient service representative, and I worked with stage 3 and 4 head, neck, and lung cancer.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
rough.
But
Yeah.
it was it was good. They
Yeah.
needed me. I loved it. Yeah. So I
Oh,
keep reinventing. I find it
yeah.
interesting. I'm not one thing. I see that I can keep moving on, and I don't know.
That's really inspiring that you get to
There's a lot of
change.
people like stay in their
Mhm.
career, they master their career.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've just, through my life, just my journey was more keep reinventing, keep
Yeah.
recreating.
That's very cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
I'm wondering where my next chapter is. My kids are in California.
Oh, wow.
So I really want to be closer to my kids.
Mhm.
My son is a producer for reality TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and my daughter's living in Venice Beach, and she's doing amazing things with her music, and she runs wonderful trips to Costa Rica. And they're just really fun to be with. And I have to find my way out there. So
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
scheduled to go out September
Nice.
5th. So I'm
Okay.
very excited. Spend a couple weeks with them and get in trouble. And it's
Yeah.
fun. You can always get in trouble in Venice Beach, right?
Yeah.
Fun.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Um, Best piece of advice you'd go back and give your 18-year-old self, or maybe you gave your 18-year-old kids.
Just love yourself a little bit more. Don't be so judgmental. Like look in the mirror and know that everything is okay.
Yeah.
I think we just judge ourselves so much just on physical and everything else. And at the end of the day, it's just, you have to just love yourself a little bit more
Yeah.
and have the confidence that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I kind of told them that don't take life so serious.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if I would have, I don't think I was so serious, but I think I was worried what people might have thought about me.
Sure.
Where at 62, I actually I don't have any of those feelings anymore.
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
kind of like, I'm just doing me and
Yeah.
and I can be authentically myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
that's great advice for all of us. I mean, at any point in life
Yeah,
is
exactly.
just
You have
that.
to just wake up and let's just do life and be happy and just be grateful for what's happening.
Yeah. No, so true. So true.
Yeah.
So we've reached our fast and furious finish,
Okay.
which as you know, is neither fast nor furious. So did you have a favorite TV show or book or movie from back during our high school
Not
days?
so much books. Movies, I was into the Rocky, I was into Saturday Night Fever. You know, I did like a little bit of that disco fever. I was caught up in that.
Oh yeah.
Um, and what was the other thing you asked?
TV show. If you had a
Oh,
TV show.
TV shows. Oh, I watched
Nothing.
nothing
Yeah.
that stands out like other than
Yeah.
late at night. I didn't really watch a lot of TV in high school.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't really think I did. I think there were just too many other things going on. But
Yeah.
yeah, nothing that stands out.
Okay. How about your favorite musical group, favorite artist or genre? And here's where I always stand up and
Yeah, there
plug.
you go for
Here's
Reggie.
my Heaven's
That's a
Edge
cool
plug.
shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, my brother was, our bedrooms were so close and he had this speakers were big speakers and he had the stereo system. I was like my own little radio, you know, record
Yeah.
player, nothing like with giant speakers. So he was more rock. I
Hmm.
was a little softer rock. I was like Earth, Wind and Fire and Chicago and Eagles and Billy Joel and Springsteen.
Yeah.
You know, I had
Yeah.
the whole genre. Then you know, I liked a little bit of everything, but I was a little softer
Yeah.
than, you know. But and I loved, you know, the Go-Go's and if it was disco, I loved a little disco. I was all over the place. The Cars,
Yeah.
I don't know, everything.
Yeah. Do you remember your first concert?
Well, my first concert, I was thinking back to that because Jeff Fendrick's brother Mark,
Yeah.
he used to, it was great for those of us who didn't have our driver's licenses, but he would have a bus that would meet us at the Woodcrest Shopping Center.
Hmm.
Would pay him. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so he would get a bus that would meet at the Woodcrest Shopping Center, and he would get it together for concerts. And
Oh, okay.
everybody would meet at the Woodcrest, and he would bus us over to the Spectrum.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know
So
that.
our parents didn't have to worry, and he got
Yeah.
us there and brought us back. It was really a great thing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking back, I'm sure it was Elton John,
Oh,
or
really?
David Bowie, one of those.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if I have to think back to, I mean, I did see Springsteen. I was thinking back, it must have been, that was like 70, I think it was 75.
Okay.
I don't know, but it was one of those.
Yeah.
David Bowie, Elton John, or Springsteen.
Yeah, I got to see the Piano Men.
Ah,
So it was Billy Joel and Elton John.
oh,
So
nice.
that was
That's a
that
great
was
concert.
that was a great concert. So
Yeah.
not back then, obviously.
Yeah.
Many years hence. So did you have a place where you hung out with friends or you went to eat? Were you a
I,
diner gal?
yeah, I mean, I was always good for, you know, Diamond Diner or Country Club, but I liked Winston's.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love their French onion soup. Um,
That's funny. So there's like you know how everybody went through their French frying ground gravy and all that was, but
Yeah.
like that's exactly when you just said Winston's and you said French onions. I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's
Right?
what you got when you went to Winston's, is you got
Exactly.
French onion soup.
It was
Oh,
so
that's so
good.
funny.
And
Yeah.
we used to go and get Franco's Panzerottis in
Ah,
Westmont. Do you know
okay,
about that?
I don't.
Okay, well, extremely unhealthy, but the most delicious. And they were like these pillows of a pizza, and
Yeah.
you'd shake it, these pans. Oh, they were so good. I mean, we love those Franco's Panzerottis. I mean, I ate, Scottos was a big thing for
I
us
mean,
because,
yeah,
and but yeah, kind of diner. Yeah,
yeah,
not my fave, but yeah, I would go because what else was open late at night?
yeah, exactly.
And
So,
Kaminsky's, we always went to
all
Kaminsky's. Yeah.
righty. So here we go.
Oh, there she
Uh,
is. I
yeah,
liked it.
yeah, that
Yeah,
is
I
very
was
good.
fine with it. I loved, I had the feathers,
Yes. So was
It
that
was,
Farrah Fawcett? Was that the
I guess that was
the
my
fade?
inspiration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We all just blew our hair out,
yeah, yeah,
it was nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was good. You look good in a cowl neck.
there you go. I was thinking about it, why they had us. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I remember after our Sweet 16s, I had everything had my name on it, like
Oh.
all those S chain bracelets. And so that was what I think was hanging over the top of that
Oh,
thing.
okay. Okay. All right.
Remember like everybody,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, I like it.
So, what's your number? Have you, and I know you've heard this question before.
What's
What
that?
do you recall as the number of people?
Oh, so I always thought I thought it was like 873, something like
Okay.
that. I always
Okay.
thought it was high because I remember my brother was a year right after us.
Okay.
And I thought our class was slightly bigger than his. But I remember at the time, my dad worked at East. He was the learning disability specialist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he followed me from like Heritage to East. Yeah.
Oh,
But anyway,
wow.
so he was at East the whole time I was there.
Okay.
And I remember at the time we had like 4,000 kids at East.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And West had three,
Yeah.
like 27, almost 3,000. We had a lot of teenagers in Cherry Hill,
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So lastly, anything you want to tell anyone, someone, the classmates who might be listening in
Well,
today?
you know, I'm open. I would love to connect with whoever wants to connect. If you're down in Florida, reach out to me. I would love to make the reunion. I'm looking forward to coming back up to New Jersey. That will be fun. Yeah, no, everything. I'm open. I would love to connect with whoever would, want to connect.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Marsha, I can't thank you enough for being on the podcast
Okay,
today.
Kara,
This was
thank
great. It
you.
was a lot of fun.
Thank you. And it is fun. And keep it up. Let's
Okay.
spread the word and let's hope more people will just come on and
Yeah.
just share their life. And
We may
it
have to
makes
have a
it
brief
fun.
summer hiatus because
There you go.
until I can get some people on. But
Yeah, you will. I mean, it just
oh
takes time.
yeah, no,
People just,
no.
people, they
Yeah.
just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Excellent. Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for all your hard work doing this. I know it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I'm really
And when
enjoying it.
you're in Florida, hopefully, I mean, I'll be in
Okay.
New Jersey, but if you're down,
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have
let's
to make a
connect.
point of coming down.
All
There's so
right.
many folks there. It'll be great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining me on It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and the early 80s. A shout out to my cousin Brad Corbett, whose podcast We Weren't Friends in High School inspired me to do this podcast and whose advice and encouragement have been so helpful. Thanks also to my husband, Randy Coughdale, who read all the fine print on the podcast hosting website so I wouldn't have to. And thanks to Jeff Lyons, content consultant and guinea pig, and to Deborah Smead, also content consultant. And thank you to all our classmates who are listening in. See you next week.